До слова запрошується речник Міністерства оборони України з питань.
Now the floor is given to Ministry of Defense spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk. Good afternoon, everyone. Now the information about the main events that happened yesterday in the region of ATO. So for the seventh day of military actions, there was some de-escalation. The number of enemy shelling decreased and losses also decreased. But it is still far from full ceasefire. The occupants actively use heavy weapons, and in Avdiivka there was an attempted offensive by the militants. And also the militants prevent repair of infrastructure that was damaged by the militants. Lugansk area, as previously, the shellings of the enemy were in Popasnyansky region. The enemy used mortars 5 times, and once they used grad systems. Heavy weapons was used only in dark hours. And also there was 15-minute shelling delivered by the militant groups in Zhovte. On the whole, during last 24 hours in Lugansk area, there were 12 shellings delivered by the enemy, half of which were the use of heavy weapons. Donetsk area, yesterday for the first time over this week, the military actions are not carried out during 24 hours. They delivered fire for 11 hours. The rest of the day it was calm. And each shelling, they used heavy weapons during each shelling, and then the enemy attacked our positions by 2 groups, 10 people in each from east and southeast direction. Battle lasted for an hour. Our servicemen hold their positions and didn't sustain losses. Attack of the militants was supported by massive shelling delivered by Yasinovata side. The enemy used heavy weapons except grad systems. During last 24 hours, the law enforcers recorded damage of 22 houses and 2 cars in Avdiivka. The representatives of central and local bodies of government continued to repair infrastructure of the town. Representatives of the National Police opened 2 additional centers of heating, providing food and provision of humanitarian help. Gas and heat supply is in Avdiivka, and now they try to repair the electricity lines. Also, at the left flank of Avdiivka, the region of Kamenka, Krutabalka, and the Donetsk filtration station, the enemy was active. There were 2 shellings recorded. They delivered fire with the use of tank and APC. And at the right flank, there is a Shakhta Butivka-Pisky part of front line. It was relatively calm. Also, the enemy violated ceasefire near Gorlovka. In Novolugansk, there was artillery shelling delivered by the enemy. In Zaitsevo, the enemy used small arms and mortars, and in Svetlodarsk Bulge, it was relatively calm yesterday. So on the whole, there were 14 enemy shelling in the Donetsk area, including 9 with the use of heavy weapons. Mariupol area. The regions of the main military actions remain the same. This is Mariinsky region, Novotroitsk, Chermalik, Shirokina part of front line. The overall activity of the enemy also decreased. The enemy several times used mortars, tank and sniper fire. Between 10 in the morning until 3 p.m. it was calm, and for the rest of the day the enemy delivered fire. The biggest number of enemy shelling was in Pavlopil, Shirokina part of front line. And on the whole, yesterday in Mariupol area, the enemy violated ceasefire 25 times, including 4 with the use of heavy weapons. During last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed, but 2 were wounded in Avdiivka. Yesterday, the enemy sustained losses in Avdiivka. As Chief Intelligence Department of MOD reports, now there are 380 heavily wounded militants that are treated in Donetsk hospitals. One more militant returned to peaceful life due to SBU program They Wait for You Back Home. It was identified that in June 2014 the man joined the ranks of the militant group. He patrolled the streets of the town with rifle in his hands. Then he left the militants after months of service because he rejected the ideas of separatism. And today there will be a burial ceremony in Dnipropetrovщина, and Natalia Haruja, a sergeant of 24th Detached Mechanized Brigade. She died on the 2nd of February under enemy shelling in Svetlodarsk Bulge in the course of evacuation of wounded, and this courageous woman saved lives of many soldiers and officers.